This is a video for Algebra 2, problem 2-95. I'm only going to do the first 3 graphs. You actually have 9 of them. I'm going to do 3 of them so that you can see how to do them, and that way you'll be able to do the other 6 on your own and ask questions if need be. So you have to look at each one of these graphs and recognize what the parent function is. So let's just work on problem A here. And I look at this, and we should be able to see we've got these branches. This is the reciprocal function. So I'm going to write that in standard form. And this is the standard form of the reciprocal function. We need to find the values for the parameters A, H, and K. So I'm going to start with the A. And I notice that it's 1. And the reason I know it's 1 is I look at this point right here, which is the point that used to be before this reciprocal function got moved. This point right here is what used to be at the origin. So I find this new, I kind of refer to it sometimes as the new origin. I look at this new origin and we go over 1 unit, and however far we go up to touch the function, that's your A. So when I went over 1 to the right, I only went 1 unit up, and so that tells me that A equals 1. So I replace the A with a 1. Now we're going to again look at where we had the origin at 0, 0, and where did that get moved to? It got moved over here, and the coordinates for that new origin is -2, 0. Well, that new origin is the HK. It's telling me how we moved it. It's saying we moved it -2, we moved it 2 units to the left, and we did not move this function up or down, so that's the 0. Well, I'm going to replace the H and the K in the function, in the standard form, with those numbers, -2 and 0. Note that it used to say x minus h, but when I put a -2, it became x plus 2. So, and I don't need to keep an equation with a plus 0. We've written everything here. We also don't need to keep it with a 1 in the front. So simplifying it, we get y equals 1 over x plus 2. When you get into class and you're checking your homework, it would be a good idea to grab one of the graphing calculators and put this into your graphing calculator, graph it, and see that this does graph this. Or if you're at home, you can go to the Desmos program. You can go to desmos.com, or click on this if you're on the ebook, and it will take you right there. And you can put these functions into that Desmos program and graph it at home if you don't have a graphing calculator. Let's look at part B. This part B, we look at this, we've got a parabola, so that's quadratic. So I write the standard form of that quadratic with my parameters A, H, and K. I'm going to try to figure out what my parameters are by looking at this graph. Well, I look at the vertex right here, and I notice that when we go over 1 to the right, we're going to go up 1 unit. Since we go up 1 unit, that's what my A is. So I'm going to replace that A with a 1. Now I also notice that the origin, which we had at 0, 0, got moved. And this is where the vertex of the parabola used to be, but the parabola got moved down here to this new vertex of 0, -5. That new vertex, that new origin, is my HK. So in the equation, I'm going to replace those, the 0 and the -5. Again, we don't need to keep this as x minus 0, so we're going to do some simplification. We don't need a 1 in front. So when we simplify this, we just get x squared minus 5. Once again, just to show you that, whoops, we had this x minus 0, so that just becomes x. When we're adding a -5, that's the same as subtracting 5. And we don't need to write 1 times anything, so it simplifies to that. The third one is a cubic. So we need the standard form of a cubic, which we wrote in class, and so here we have it, with the parameters A, H, and K. I'm going to look at where when the cubic is normally, when it hasn't been moved, the parent function, this point, the origin, gets moved over to this new origin. We move 1 unit to the right, and it ends up going up 1 unit. My video might be kind of small. When you're looking at the book, you can see that that goes up 1 unit. So I know my A is 1. Next thing I need to do is I look at the origin, 0, 0, and where did it get moved to? It got moved over to 3, 0. That's your HK. So we place the HK in the formula. Again, we're going to simplify. We don't need to write plus 0, and we've got all this in. There it is. So those are the first 3. You can work on the next 6 problems, the next 6 graphs of this problem, and ask questions or email me if you need more further understanding.